Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more rifle testing, and today we've got another very interesting combo to try out. It's a rifle that y'all seem to really enjoy when I bring out, and I definitely enjoy testing it as well. And we've got some pretty interesting loadings to put through it today. I don't know if I've ever run this bullet weight in this rifle, so I'm definitely curious to see how it performs. But first up, for the rifle we've got today, I brought out my Ruger M77 MKII. This one's chambered in .308. It's got a 22-inch barrel on it with an old Nikon Buckmaster scope on top. It's a 4.5 to 14 by 40. So definitely a pretty nice combo here with the stainless and the laminated stock. For the people that are also curious, this rifle has never been touched. It has not had a trigger job. It has not had the stock bedded or anything like that. Other than the scope being put on it, it is as it came, brand new from the factory. Nothing's ever been touched. I know a lot of people like to bed the stocks and really dial these in, but this one has not had any of that work done. So a nice rifle for sure. We've seen some pretty solid results from it before, so I'm curious what today's bullet weight and I guess bullet style as well does through it, because I don't know if we've tested something quite like this through this rifle just yet. But as for the loads we're running today, I brought out some of these. The Herter's Big Game 308 loads. These are a 180 grain soft point at 2620. I don't know that we'll see that claim from our 22-inch barrel, but we'll see how close we get. These are about as basic of a soft point hunting ammo as you can get. We haven't tested 180 grainers through that rifle yet, and I don't know that we've tested a basic soft point either. But if you don't know, Herter's is the in-house brand for Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, but they are all manufactured by Winchester. So this is essentially a Winchester Super X or PowerPoint load or whatever they're called nowadays. So nothing fancy here. These are usually quite a bit cheaper than a lot of the other stuff from like Federal and Remington that's on the store shelf. So we'll see how these 180 grainers do through the M77. In theory, should work out good. I've heard a lot of good things about that bullet weight from these rifles, so we'll see what I can get. But as for our test today, everything is set up the same as usual. We've got our target at 100 yards, as well as the chronograph, so we can be getting our velocities. We're going to shoot 3 groups, ideally 3 shots each, but if we see something weird or I pull a shot real bad, then we may take another shot in the group to give it the benefit of the doubt, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And of course, I will let the rifle cool down between each of the groups. From what I found, generally closer to 10 minutes or so on that particular rifle is probably about what it likes. So I'm going to give it the best chance I can with that. So let's get you guys a view of that target. I'll start shooting some groups and we'll see how these 180 grain Herter's soft points do through the M77. Alright, so we'll take a look through our chrono numbers real quick before we look at our target. Boss claim is 2620, however we have a 22-inch barrel, and I did not expect to see that claim from that shorter barrel with that heavier grain weight bullet as well. Seems like high 2400s or so is what we were seeing, and that does kind of make sense. But our high was 2553, the low was 2434, that gave us an average of 2501, so what is that, 119-ish feet per second below their boss claim, so they probably ran it through at least a 26, if not a 28, I would imagine, with an extreme spread of 119 and a standard deviation of 33. So not overly consistent either, to be honest with you, with 119 feet per second extreme spread. But at an average of 2501, here's your muzzle energy for 180 grain 308 at that kind of number. It's still plenty good enough to do the job on an average deer hunt scenario. And of course, you could take bigger animals than deer with that setup as well at that kind of energy and velocity. But it's just a case of little shorter barrel, little heavier bullet, just moving slower. But how accurate were they? I think we saw some pretty interesting results over on our target. All right, so now let's take a look at that target. And right off the bat, this is obviously not the round I'm zeroed with out of that rifle. That rifle is zeroed with some Federal 150 grainers. And we saw a drastic shift in impact here. And I just shot some 150 grainers about an hour and a half ago and tested them on video out of that rifle. And they were right on the money. So our first group, I was aiming dead center here like I always do. And we grouped these 3 bullet holes all the way down here off the bottom edge of the target. Just from center to bottom edge of the target is 6 inches. So we saw, I don't know, 7 inches, maybe close to 8 worth of bullet drop and shift of impact. And that's why you always test and zero your setups with the ammo you want to hunt with before you just take it out in the woods. Because we saw a drastic shift in impact. But either way, it doesn't immediately look like that rifle cared for these Herter's 180 grainers too much. Is it bullet weight? I don't know, maybe. Is it soft point? Just not the highest quality bullet loading? Maybe. But those first 3 shots gave us 2.78 inches of spread down here at the bottom. 2 of them are a little close together, but one we strung a little to the right. So not overly impressive. The next group, I was aiming for that top dot up there, and we hit these 3 bullet holes right here. 1, 2, and 3. So you can see right there how much bullet drop, and we favored a touch to the right. Still, I think it's probably going to be about in the same ballpark, to be honest with you. And it gave us 2.18. So a little bit better, but still right about 2 inches. Not overly impressed. Now with our third group, I actually think this was our best group of the day, although it's still not anything to write home about. I actually had to put a sticker up here on the top of the target to give me a point of aim, so that way we weren't stacking them all in the same groups down here. And that gave us these 3 bullet holes right here. And I think that is probably our better group of the day. And like I suspected, it is indeed at 1.81 inches. So to my surprise, I would say that Ruger does not like these loadings. Again, is it bullet weight? Is it bullet design? Just a basic soft point? The whole combination of it just not working? I don't really know. And for those curious, yes, I have indeed put it on video of that rifle shooting sub 1 inch groups here just recently. We were getting 0.8, I believe, for a spread. So that rifle, completely bone stock the way it is, can absolutely do it. Now, if I go through and put a bunch of time and money into bedding the stock and doing a trigger job and stuff, could I get these 180 grainers to shoot better? Maybe, it's a possibility, but still, it seems like so far, 150 grainers are probably a better bet with that particular rifle. I've even tested some 168 grainers through it, and they weren't anything impressive either. So that rifle might just like the little bit lighter weight bullets. Maybe the little bit shorter barrel with a lighter weight bullet can get it up to speed and burn all the powder properly and stuff like that a little bit easier than with a heavier bullet, trying to push that down the shorter barrel. I don't know. It's all a possibility, I suppose. I was definitely hoping to see better, that's for sure. I have seen other rifles shoot these particular loads better than what that Ruger did today. Is it still minute of deer? Yeah, absolutely so. If you put that bullet where it needs to be, it's gonna do the job. There's plenty of rifles out there that shoot 2 inch groups and have taken hundreds of deer. So that is absolutely still capable, but it can do way better, that's for sure. But for today, I don't think those 180 grain Herters are that rifle's favorite loading. All right, y'all. Well, what did you think about that result right there? I was definitely hoping for a little bit better, that's for sure. I know those Herter's loads are capable of better, and I know that Ruger's capable of better as well. The two of them together, just not the perfect or most ideal combo. So now I'm definitely curious to continue testing it and seeing what we can get with a few different loadings and a few different bullet weights and see if that trend continues to where it prefers the lighter weight bullets. But it's a perfect example of, number one, why you always test and zero the rounds you want to hunt with before you just take it out in the woods, because you could have a pretty drastic point of impact shift if you're zeroed with a different load. And it's a good example of why you test different loads in your rifle to see what it likes and what it doesn't. Clearly, this one tends to prefer lighter weight bullets so far in our testing anyway. So not exactly the results I was hoping for, but at least now we have another data point to work off of, and we can move from here testing different loadings. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these 180 grain Herter's 308 loads? And if so, what kind of results have you seen? Do you have an M77 308 like that? And if so, what kind of loads does it like for you? Or does it have a favorite grain weight made a bullet, and maybe what other stuff do you want to see me run through that M77 that you think might be a good performer. Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.